hope you all are having a great day. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Carol, the Thrifty Chic Housewife. While you're visiting, if you find you enjoy the content here, please consider subscribing, like and share my videos, and join me on social media. I've left all the links for you in the description box below. So today we are going to be making stuffed cabbage rolls. This was really actually a request by a viewer. She asked if I had a good recipe for cabbage rolls, and I told her that I would get to it as soon as I could and be happy to share how I make mine. So that's what we're going to do today. I have a little bit of a twist on mine, and actually the idea came from the all-new Ball Book of Canning. They have a delicious recipe in there for stuffed cabbage rolls that includes using sauerkraut. And when I tried it, it was fabulous. So I've kind of tweaked the recipe a little bit and came up with my own version. So that's what we're gonna do today. Have a couple of non-traditional ingredients for our cabbage rolls. Like I said, we're gonna be adding the sauerkraut to our sauce. I'm also gonna use a little bit of white wine to deglaze my pan. Totally optional, you do not have to use it, but it adds a really nice depth of flavor. We'll just be using a small amount, and the alcohol will cook off, so no worries there. And we are also going to add some delicious bacon. What's not better with bacon, right? So the first thing that I did is I took a large head of cabbage. We're gonna be making a dozen rolls here, so you just need one large head of cabbage. And I put it in I cut the end off, and then I submerged it in a pot of boiling water for about 3 to 4 minutes until the leaves started to soften enough that I could easily remove them from the core. So I have 12 nice leaves ready and waiting to be stuffed, but first we are going to start with our sauce. Okay, so to start our sauce, we are going to brown some bacon. And I have about 1/4 pound of thick sliced bacon. Mine is peppered bacon, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You want about 1/4 pound that you dice up. And then we're just going to render the fat and crisp it up. Okay, our bacon is nice and crispy, so we're gonna remove that from our pan. We want about 2 tablespoons of fat, but I think I have a little bit more than I want, so I'm going to drain some of that off. And then to our pan, we are going to add a chopped onion. We're just going to saute our onion until it's nice and soft and starts to turn translucent. Okay, my onion is pretty soft. So now we are going to add, I have 2 large cloves of garlic that I've chopped, and we are just going to saute that for just 30 seconds or so. We don't want our garlic to burn at all. Once your garlic starts to smell fragrant, then we're going to add about 1/2 cup of dry white wine. I'm using Pinot Grigio, but you can use whatever you like. And we're just going to deglaze our pan, and we're going to let that cook for about a minute. Pick up all those delicious brown bits on the bottom of our pan. Okay, once that has simmered for about a minute, we're going to add, I'm using 1 quart of crushed tomatoes. You could also use tomato juice and tomato sauce, whatever you want to do. And then to that, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then we're going to add about 2 cups of sauerkraut. I like this brand, and it's exactly 2 cups. That's about what you want. You could use more, you could use less, whatever you have on hand, whatever you prefer is fine. It's up to you, but the sauerkraut really is a nice addition here. You could also, if you don't want to use the sauerkraut, you can go ahead and shred up the leftover cabbage, but I'm going to use mine for a different meal later this week, so I'm not going to do that. But you could go ahead and chop up or shred the cabbage that you had left over from removing the cabbage leaves. So we're just going to bring that up to a simmer, and we're going to let that hang out for a while and simmer. And while that is going on, we're going to get our filling ready to stuff our cabbage leaves. Okay, so our filling is going to be kind of like making meatloaf. I'm going to use a I'm just over a pound, but you can use about a pound of ground meat. You can use pork, you can use ground beef, you can use a combination. Some people use ground turkey. I'm using meatloaf mix. I really enjoy that. It has a lot of great flavor in it. So I have just over a pound of meatloaf mix, which is veal, pork, and beef. To that, we're going to add about 1/3 of a cup of uncooked white rice. We're going to add 1 egg. I'm going to add some garlic powder and some salt and pepper. And then we're just going to combine all that together, just like you would meatloaf. Okay, so while you're doing this, you might want to preheat your oven to 375. I know some people bake them, some people cook them on the stove in a Dutch oven. I'm going to bake mine off. So I'm preheating my oven to 375. I have all of my meat mixture mixed together. So we are ready to start stuffing our cabbage leaves. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that really tough rib of the cabbage. So just cut that out. And then you're going to take about 1/4 cup of your meatloaf mixture or your meat mixture, shape it into an oval, and then we're just going to roll up our cabbage leaves. So I cross over where I cut off, fold in, and then roll it up. Okay, I have all of my cabbage rolls rolled. So we're gonna take our sauce, and I've got a 9 by 13 inch baking pan that I'm gonna be using. I sprayed it with nonstick cooking spray. We're going to pour our sauce in there. Before you pour your sauce in, make sure you taste it and see if it needs any tweaking as far as more seasonings. But mine was really good. That sauerkraut in there is just so delicious. So then we're gonna just take our cabbage rolls and we're going to nestle them into their tomato sauce. Make sure you put them in seam side down so they don't come apart while they're cooking. And then I'm going to cover my pan. Oh, actually, nope, I forgot one thing. We need to sprinkle them, top of them, with the delicious bacon that we crisped up. Just sprinkle your bacon all across the top. Then I'm going to cover it with foil and I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven. It's going to take them about an hour to bake. You want to make sure that your filling is nice and done. So I'm going to pop them in the oven, and when we're done, I'll bring you back. Okay guys, we are all done. My my cabbage rolls baked for about an hour. I always like to test mine with a meat thermometer. I just stick a meat thermometer in the center of several of them and check the temperature. You want it to read about 170 to make sure that everything you're filling is completely done well done. I like everything well done in the middle. So anyway, I took one out for you so you could take a look at it. See all that delicious bacon and the sauerkraut? So delicious. So the one thing I did want to mention, if you want a thicker sauce, you can always add a small 6-ounce can of tomato paste to your sauce to thicken it up a little bit. You can thicken it up with, after you saute your onions, you could add a little flour and make a little roux and thicken it that way. So it's just up to you. I don't really care about my sauce being super thick, so this is good for me, but let's give it a taste. Make sure we get a little bit of everything in there. Cabbage is nice and tender. You have that delicious flavor in the background from the wine. You don't really identify it as wine, but it gives it delicious depth of flavor. The smoky bacon and then the tender beef filling is just so good. It's great together. So I hope you'll give it a try. The wine takes it up a notch, in my opinion. That smoky bacon is fantastic, and the sauerkraut just puts it over the top. It's like a taste bud explosion in your mouth. It's so good. So I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks for coming along with me today, guys. If you have any comments or questions, leave them for me in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.